Hello everyone and welcome to Kdh Art Class. So we've been practicing a bunch of different lines. Oh, by the way, for those that don't know me, my name is Miss Howard. So we've been practicing during this first 9 weeks lines that start filling up the space, showing movement, optical illusions that are both geometric shapes showing movement and organic shapes that are showing movement. And what does all this have to do with drawing more realistic pictures? A lot. These cross contour lines that we've been practicing, these lines here, they're going across the shape. That's our cross contour line that's giving us the overall appearance of the shape of the thing. Whether it's a triangle that now, thanks to the cross contour lines, is not flat, we know it's curved, like a party hat or a bird's beak or something, you know, ice cream cone-ish. It's a cone shape thanks to these cross contour lines. If they were not here, it would be a flat triangle. So we did it with the triangle shapes. We even showed how when you do your curves in different directions, how it starts to create different effects. Things that are coming out and things that are going back, as well as how you're coloring. And with my students, I was really pushing the dark on the outside and light in the center. All right. From there, we started to work with something that wasn't a straight line. In fact, it had curves. And once again, you had the light in the middle, or the highlight, and the light is next to the white. And we used marker to make it darker on the edges. So we had the dark, the light, and our white highlight, creating these organic shapes. And these organic shapes look like they're coming towards us and going further away because we learned how to bend our rainbow and our smiley face lines in such a way and putting them closer to create that illusion. These are our little optical illusions. So let's continue on with an actual drawing. This is going to be our first one. So depending on which class I'm doing, we're either going to work with the cross contour lines and maybe we'll erase in the middle, or we'll just leave them there and color on top, or we will imagine the cross contour lines going all the way across when actually when we're coloring and shading, it's in the direction of that cross contour line. It just doesn't go all the way across. Alright, so we need to get started. So what do we need? We need paper and we need pencil. So I'm going to try and do this with pencil. I went ahead and grabbed a darker drawing pencil. This one, let's see, it's the extra smooth, but I don't have the H factor here. And I should know this stuff, but I don't. I'm more of a sculptor, less of a drawing person. You can do it with a number 2 pencil. You're good with that. You know, anything like that. When you start getting your drawing pencil kits, you're going to have some that when you barely touch it, it turns out dark. And then you have some where you push as hard as you can and it will still be a light color. So that's the graphite, how hard or soft the graphite is. If it's soft, you barely touch it and all of that darkness goes on your paper. If it's hard, no matter how hard you push on it, it's still going to look light because the graphite was squished together so strongly that it doesn't want to rub on your paper. But I leave that up to more the secondary and high school art teachers to explain. Just know that there's pencils that make it easier to draw dark and pencils that don't. Alright, let's zoom in a little bit, because we're going to need to work on this. And we're going to start with a nice pumpkin shape. To begin the pumpkin, we're going to go ahead and do the outline of our pumpkin. So the way I like to do my little pumpkin is kind of like a heart. So it's going to curve kind of like the letter C. And you get to follow along on this, of course. And starting here, I'm going to curve the other direction and connect it. So it's kind of like a heart, it's just missing the pointy part at the bottom. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to do that. And we'll continue in about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Get my sharpener ready while I'm waiting. Alright, from here we're going to go in the middle and it's going to curve down to the bottom in one direction and it's going to curve in the other direction. So in a sense, it's like when we did our wormy little pieces. We did the middle area, so it's bigger, and then it's going to get smaller and smaller. So when I turn my wormies this way, you can kind of see that pumpkin looking shape to it. So that's basically what we're working on. Now, just like the wormies, as we go further from this centerpiece, our section should get a little bit smaller. Luckily, pumpkins grow in all kinds of shapes, so it really doesn't matter. Okay. Excuse me. Starting from the center, I'm going to curve it again. All the way to the bottom. And luckily for me, it cuts it in half, and it's actually a good size. This other side, curve. Down to the bottom. Now, if I want, I could do another line. I'm not going to in this case because I want it to have enough space for you to see what I'm doing. Alright, next thing, we get to make our little S stem. And I'm going to start out and go in a little bit and curve, kind of like the letter C on this side, to make my stem kind of look a little more 3D. Instead of drawing a line, I'm going to do like an oval or a circle that connects it. So the plant actually has these stems that have a flower that turns into the pumpkin. So So this is literally the stem, and it's a vine. So it's a long, winding, curvy little stem that, of course, feeds the pumpkin and grows the pumpkin. So I'm just going to go ahead and from the back of my stem, I'm just going to do a little curve to show the back side of the pumpkin over there. And another little curve over there. And that right there already, thank you, overlapping what we were studying about space. We now have what's closer and what's further. Overlapping shows what's behind it and what's in front. Alright, so we have our pumpkin. Now, our cross contour lines show us how to make it look more 3D, so we know in which direction to shade. Now, when you get to these little lines that we've made, it's going to be darker in there because it's going further away. There's that space thing. So the shading, how dark or light something is, shows how far away. Dark usually looks further away. Light looks closer to us. Okay. So, as you can see, these are going to be curving kind of like smiley faces, or if I turn my pumpkin upside down, you can do it like rainbows coming out, and the rainbow is going to go all the way from one section, from the side of one section to the side of that, to the other side of that section. That was confusing. Let's try again. So inside this section, your cross contour line is going to rainbow to the other side, or if you're doing it right side up because you like doing smiley face lines better, one side of this section all the way to the other side. They're going to get closer as you get closer to the stem, and these triangle spots get closer, and they're going to get wider apart when you get more in the middle. Once again, let's go back to our wormies. Okay, as we got closer to each other, like a smaller little area, these lines are thinner, they're closer, they're almost touching each other. But then as we get to a bigger area, they get further apart. So we have to keep that in mind. Okay, so let's just start with this big one that I left over here. Now, I said smiley faces. I'm not good at drawing smiley faces, so I'm actually going to turn my paper upside down because I'm much better, I don't know why, with like the rainbow look. Alright, so I'm going to curve it, sorry, so that you can see it's like a rainbow. Alright, I'm going to curve it because we know these pumpkins have these sections that stick out and go in. They're kind of in and out. These are our cross contour lines. We're going to do this one with the full cross contour line that you can come back and erase. We know everything's kind of going in this direction. When we color, we talked about that in class as well as in the videos. You don't want to color perpendicular, you want to color parallel. Science words, yes, we went there. Math words too. And as we get closer to the bottom, we can get closer with our little rainbows. And we should have a few closer here. I can put one in between there. Yeah. on a couple of these, just to make them show that they're a little bit closer together. Okay. And that's getting that banana shape to look more three-dimensional. Okay. So this is my guide. I need to make sure I'm coloring in that direction. I say coloring, shading is the more correct way of saying it. Shading in that direction. We also know that we're supposed to leave a white highlight section. Now, if we want to do this kind of like the wormies, then yes, we could do a little highlight depending on where our light source is. That's going down the middle of our pumpkin. So if you kind of remember with our worms, we had the white, and I'm just going to slowly start bringing a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller, and then as you get to this bottom of the pumpkin, you're really not going to see any of that white highlight. And same this way. It's going to be less and less. So this is going to be white. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm so not prepared. If I had an eraser handy. Which, oh, you would just laugh at my desk. I have everything here except for an eraser. Oh yeah, and my pencil pretty much has nothing there. You could come in and erase. Let's see if my carrying tote has one. You know what? My mechanical pencil does. Alright, so you can come in here and erase to make sure that area stays white. That is our light reflection highlight on our pumpkin. Right. So you could do that now, or you could do that at the end, or I'm probably going to do both, because I really don't want this pencil line, but I'm leaving it there for you. I'll come in and I'll erase that again. Alright, so let's go back to what did the wormies teach us? They taught us that we need to be dark on the edge, light next to the white. So it's an ombre. Dark, medium, light. The more levels of intensity or value you can squeeze in there, the more realistic it's going to look. So my students, they used a marker to make it darker on the edge, and then the color pencil, no matter how hard they pushed on it, did not get as dark as the marker for some of the colors. Okay, and then we barely touched the color pencil right next to the white line. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use just this pencil. So let's see how close I can get this thing to zoom in, and it still stays somewhat in focus. Ooh, this is a nice camera. Much better than my one at school, sad to say. And a lot cheaper than my one at school. Alright, I'm going to start kind of in this middle one. So, I said dark on the outside. Now notice I'm going in the same direction as my cross contour line. Okay? And this edge is going to go dark. Okay. Going in the same direction coloring. I'm no, yes, 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 yes. Okay. Now I'm not going to press as hard next to it. and I'm going to press even lighter, or this is where you can kind of switch pencils, where you can really lightly touch. I need to do this a little bit more so you guys can see. It's so hard because what's going to look right, I have to make it more extreme for the camera. Medium, light, and then of course we know this is the white area, so I'm just more like touching my eraser, not quite erasing it. In that direction. And the same on this side. I had it nice and dark. Now I do it less dark. And then light. Keep checking my camera. Can you even see? Yes, you can kind of see that. And then, because I don't know, I did not want this line, except to teach you, I'm going to try and erase it as much as possible, leaving that area white. I can't go much closer because it's going to start getting more and more out of focus. Now here's the hard part. You want to know how to draw realism, but most kids do not have the patience to draw the realism. We're going to have to do that in all of these sections. Alright, again, going with the dark, and what's nice is we're not changing colors like we did with our little wormy exercise. You can just keep going and going. Going and going. Nice and dark. Keep changing this up so you can kind of see what's going on, and you see the effect all the way. Coloring in the direction of the cross contour lines. Remember, they're there to guide us. Which way should I be coloring? Because believe it or not, our eyes pick that up. There's like, oh, they made it look so real. Well, yes, because even the itty bitty teeny tiny little scratches that our pencil makes is going in the correct direction. So there's the dark. Now we get to come in with the medium. Working my way down. And the medium. Not pushing as hard. Can you guys see the difference? Okay, good. Trying to find that, what works with the camera. It's kind of looking like the same as the dark, but hopefully your eyes are better than mine. And you can see the difference between the dark and the medium. I can always go darker. Alright, medium, medium. All the way down. Alright. And then the light, because that pencil gets so dark, I'm switching to a regular number 2 pencil, which is harder, and you can't make it quite as dark as that one I was using. Remember, you only need the one pencil. You just have to push harder and less and less. I'm just trying to make it work with the camera as much as possible. Plus, a lot of teachers have the drawing pencils. Now, the COVID rule is we cannot let you borrow our stuff right now. You have to bring your own stuff to the classroom to reduce the spread of germs. So, and then lightly, what I'm trying to do is lighten up my cross contour lines that went all the way across, as well as up and down. How's it going? Not bad. Like I said, there are our guidelines that you need when you're first learning, but then once you learn how to use these cross contour lines, then you do not need to have them. You already see that in your brain. Alright, I'm going to use something, not my finger, to blend it all together. Obviously, a Kleenex. Paper towels work very good. Kleenex tissues. And that gives it a nice little ombre, shadowy effect. Helps to get rid of the scratchiness of our pencil lines. And even this is back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, or if I turn it this way, up and down and up and down and up and down with that contour, cross contour line direction. I'm going to go ahead and kind of rush through this other side, cross contour, dark on the outside. So hopefully you see the effect. Now, those of you watching this at home, please pause, rewind, whatever you need to do if you miss a step. And going with the nice and dark on the outside. Then the medium. So I'm trying to rush, I'm messing up. So the teachers are like, don't rush. It's okay if you don't finish. Just don't scribble scrabble to try and finish. You'll mess up your artwork. And so many children had a beautiful artwork, and then the bell rings to stop and clean up, and they're like, oh my goodness, and they kick into super fast scribble scrabble mode. Kind of like I'm doing here, except it's a medium fast. To try and finish before, you know, they have to put their stuff away and clean up, and they end up messing up their whole picture. Okay, and then I'm actually just going to use this to rub the graphite all the way over to the highlight. And I think you're going to kind of see how those wormy cross contour lines are helping to make our pumpkin. Let me zoom out just a smidge. See if we can't focus it a little bit better. And you have the ability to come in with your eraser. Kind of take away some of those cross-contoury lines. Okay. And voila. This is how we're learning to make something three-dimensional. And eventually, you won't need to add all of those cross contour lines to do it. So let me show those of you that want to see it without the cross contour lines. We know they're little smiley faces. We know it's darker on the edge. And it has to go in the direction of that smiley face. But I have it in my brain. I'm not drawing it on my pumpkin. And I do it on the other side. Doing the dark where it goes down. And a lot of kids are afraid to kind of press dark on their pencil. It's okay. You know, all us that's contradictory to what us teachers are saying. They're like, start light till you get it right, and then you can press darker. It's very true. But just don't forget to go back and press darker. Alright, here's my medium again, going with that smiley face cross contoury direction. And then taking your Kleenex Q-tip. Again, don't use your finger. You have this oil on your finger that's going to mess up your paper, and it's going to look kind of funky. I don't know how else to put it. Kind of smudgy. Smiley face, smiley face. And coming in to add that highlight. So there's your progressions. You can use the cross contour lines as you're learning how to rub it. Then once your brain has figured it out, then you can come in without the cross contour lines, and you can start, rub off all those little crummies from my eraser. Then you can just start doing it knowing I'm always supposed to go in this direction with my coloring. And you'll start to get this beautiful three-dimensional looking pumpkin. Practice, practice, practice. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes work. And you want to know why people pay big money to people that can draw realistically? It's because it takes a long time. Have fun. Work on your pumpkin. It gives a nice, simple, small sections to do at a time. Good luck and have fun creating. Bye.